So this is day 16, and this is the 16th piece of advice I would give to my childhood self. I think this one today is going to be a quick one. I don't know really that it's too much that I could flesh out, but it is still really important as a message, as something to own and understand and to accept. I think with this idea that I was talking about relationships that you have with other people, and yesterday I talked about speaking your truth in order to be able to set boundaries, and maybe that could have been 2 separate videos, but hey, it was one. But yes, I talked about that in relationship with other people. And I think the next thing that I would say in relation to the relationships you have with other people is when you do know your own truth and you become really firm in your own beliefs and your own values, and you begin to communicate that with other people, it's really important to understand the distinction of your own values and knowing and believing them and owning and taking ownership of them in a way that allows you to continue to give value to them, I guess, and to not disrespect them, basically. But then there can be this fine line where when you're so in ownership of those values and ideas that it can be really almost easy to try to convince someone else to get on board. Is the most common one that I see is, just you found this new thing and you're obsessed and you love it and you just want everyone you know to be doing what you do, and it's a very common thing, and it's not a bad thing. But I think knowing that people will come to their own things in their own time, and you can be and so basically the point that I'm getting to in this video and the piece of advice that I would give to my childhood self is you cannot tell anyone anything. You can only be permission. So what I mean by that is if you have a particular way of doing things, or you have particular values or whatever, there is it's not your responsibility to say or right to say that your way is better than someone else's, even if you have the science to back it or the this to back it or that and whatever. So you can't be going around telling people how to live their lives and try to convince them that their way is the wrong way and your way is the right way, or you know what I mean? Like there's a difference between telling someone how to do it and then just doing it yourself. And I see some irony in me doing these videos, but I'm not just sitting here saying you should do this. I'm just saying, this is what I do. This is what works for me. This is what the advice I would give to my childhood self. And maybe some people resonate and maybe it doesn't. Maybe no one does. But I cannot go out and tell people that these 30 pieces of advice are the ways that they could change their lives. And maybe it would be. If every kid on the planet was to take on these 30 pieces of advice and integrate it into their life when they were kids and really understand, I believe, it is my belief, that would totally change the planet. But I can't walk around forcing that on people. I can't go around saying, you should change your parenting style, you should change this, you should change that. It's not my right, nor is it gonna get me anywhere. And so all I can do in being in a relationship with other people is just staying in my truth. And by staying in my truth, I'm going to be permission for other people who see that and feel inspired in themselves. And so it can't be me telling them to do something and then they're like, oh, okay, I'll do it, I guess. They have to see you taking inspired action, doing the things that light you up, being in your own truth, doing the things that you want to be doing. And so if I want kids all around the world to be learning these kinds of things, I need to and, you know, and beyond kids, let's kind of get onto the whole parenting ourselves. Like, we all are carrying around wounds from our own childhood that still are unresolved. And so it's my wish that maybe every kid on the planet learns this stuff, but every adult learns it too, because we all need to heal our inner child. But I can't go around knocking on everyone's door saying, hey, I think this is what you should do, listen to me. It's not going to work like that. I have to see my message, understand my message, embody it in my life first. I have to be sitting here looking at these, I guess, 30 by the end of it. Look at my 30 every day and looking at it in every part of my life and really deconstruct what is working, what isn't working, integrating it more, becoming fully into the person that I wish to be and the person that I want to, that I would be inspired by, the kind of person that I have. Like, over the years, I've had mentors and I've had people that have been inspirational to me, and I find those people every day, and just them owning their own experience and having their own dream and vision, even though it's not always in alignment with my own, I can find something in them. I can find something in their message. I can find something in the way that they hold themselves, or the way they communicate to the world, or the way that they just are. And that can be permission for me to be more of that in myself, whether it's being more like something that they already have, or just being more of my own self. So, for example, I reached out to someone yesterday. I got on the phone and I was like, okay, so I'm doing these 30 videos and I'm having a great time, but I'm thinking, what's the next thing? And I kind of was like, oh, I just would love to brainstorm to you, because like, I'm not a parent and this person is a parent. And I was like, I'm not a parent, and I wanted to talk to someone who, you know, is in the field, like in the field, who is with their kids. Like, they are the people that I'd be hoping to reach and to target and to inspire. But it's like, I'm not a parent. I can't get inside the mind of a parent. I can't understand what it's like to have birthed and raised a human. And so I think there's a whole nother side that I can't really even begin to understand. But she just said to me, she's like, Claire, you can't sit there and be thinking about all the things that you don't have. You can only think about what you do bring to the table. And it's so true. Like, she in her own things that she does, she might not have everything. But when I see her post and doing the things that she does in her own business, in her own life, I do see that ability to take on the advantage, like the whatever special sauce, I guess, that each unique person has. She's kind of beginning to, and like has found hers and really uses that and doesn't like apologize for the rest. It's like, this is what I have and it's good, and the rest is gonna follow. Anyway, so basically that's pretty much all I have to say on the matter, is just be permission. You can only ever be permission. You can never tell someone what to do. They're not going to listen. And I think as a parent or teacher, I think that also is so true in terms of parenting or teaching. I know, especially like where I'm working right now, and in any of the jobs I've really had working with kids, is being a role model is a different way of saying being permission. So when you are exemplifying the kinds of things that you want to be teaching, you are showing them by example how to do those things. And so if you want them to, you know, clean and be tidy, and are you clean and tidy? If you want them to be honest and open, are you honest and open with them? Like, do you know what I mean? Just like totally flipping it on its head and saying like, okay, I want them to, am I doing? And just looking at that same thing, like what values and things do you want for your kid? Like, obviously at the end of the day, you want them to be happy, or kids if you're a teacher, sorry. What do you want from them? And is that maybe just something you want for yourself? But B, if it is something that you want for them, you have to embody it first. And you can teach and teach and teach, but they're less likely to hear the words you say, and they're more likely to follow the actions you take. And in terms of, just kids, it's just like, be the permission, and then allow them to be their own permission for themselves. And especially in like friend groups, if they are, being swayed by the opinions of others, teaching them to not be swayed, and cultivating this idea of like, you don't have to listen to your friends, that maybe by, like, if they're doing something you don't like, but maybe by doing the things that you love, and maybe you're going to stand out and be unique and be different, by doing those things, you're actually going to be permission for those other kids to do the things that they want to do, because they're just following the herd just like you. And if there's that one kind of ringleader person that everyone's just copying, and then all of a sudden another person's going out doing their own thing, it's like, oh, it's only cool to, wear pink on a Wednesday. And then you start wearing pink every day of the week because you love pink, or you don't like pink and you don't want to wear it on Wednesdays. So you just don't, and you wear, purple. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then you may be permission for all those other kids to break that cycle of what they want to do. They don't want to wear pink either, or they just want to wear pink all the time, or they don't want to be buckled down. But I don't know why I'm using this example. I think it's from Mean Girls. But you get the idea of just you being permission allows them to be permission. It's kind of shaping this world and universe of just power and strength, and knowing who they are and standing for what they believe in. So I think that is in relationships with other people. I think that's what that looks like. And I just think that's a really cool one. It can be really challenging at times to embody that and be permission. But I think really, if you're going through, a lot of the stuff that I've talked through so far on the first 15, they're kind of all feeding into each other, and it's none of these really stand mutually exclusive. They all are feeding off of one another into each other, all together, collectively creating this strength and this individuality and this knowing of who you are and what you want and how to operate in a society with other people and I'm going to go into a few more about other people and just acceptance and the way that we treat other people and love other people. And anyway, but just, this permission is just, they all feed into each other. But this is just another one of the many that is another piece of advice that I wish that I had heard when I was a little younger. Maybe I'd be a little more ahead of the curve than my 26-year-old self, still figuring it out. And I know that some people are further along and still figuring it out, and that doesn't make it bad or good. It's just the knowing that if I had had this information earlier, I don't know, we only have a short life, and I want to see great things come out of it. I want to experience the most and love the most and be my best self for the most of it. I don't want to, not that it's ever a waste, but I don't want to spend my time and energy on things that are low energy and do not create happiness for me and do not bring me my highest excitement. I want to be spending my time on things that light me up. I want to be spending my time excited about my life and happy about my life, and not over analyzing and stressing and trying to navigate and control my life, and just really just fall into this flow and enjoyment of the experience of this human experience that we are all in. That is what I want. And if I had had that a little younger, maybe I could have saved myself a few years of turmoil. And so I think this is basically what I hope to be permission for, is someone else to hear this and to be inspired to be their own person and to not be in this time and energy like vortex of being stuck in other people's opinions, stuck in this way of not respecting your body, not loving who you are, not thinking you're enough, taking it personally, all these things that I held on to for so long that just really only brought me misery, and that by letting them go, even if some of them I've only just started to let go of, it's just brought me so much more happiness. And I would love to see a generation that wasn't burdened by I'm not enough. I would love to see a generation that isn't burdened by thinking that their happiness is external, thinking that they are not in control of their own emotions and their feelings and the way that they react to situations, and that their environment does not dictate, that their circumstances do not dictate who they can be. So that is me for today. That is number 16. 10, 6, 16, 30 is gonna be... Actually, I'm excited for the 30th video, but I'll probably forget to do that. Anyway, rambling done, 16, but that's a wrap.